Chanel here, your menopause nutritionist. Right, today I thought we would just do a little bit of an update. Just a bit of a life update on what is happening for me personally. Obviously, normally I'm over here sharing information with you guys, but I think you guys connect not just to hear the information that I teach you and pass down, but I think you actually connect because we actually are connecting as human beings. So I thought that I would give you an update on a few things. I haven't done that for a while. And those of you who follow along know that I've just launched my second program for the year. So I should actually explain that if you're new here. So being a nutritionist and a menopause coach, health coach, I work with clients one-on-one. So I have a lot of one-on-one clients who I love working with. And then I run programs 3 times a year. So I've literally got my second program for the year going. We're in week 1. And there's a lot of work that goes into the few weeks before I launch a program. So if you've been listening, you would have heard it all. Like a lot of it is content, like making sure everyone knows what I'm doing so they can jump on board, because my program runs for 12 weeks. So I only run it 3 times. So there's only one more this year that will, be there. And the chance obviously to join is to be able to learn everything you need to know to master your nutrition and lifestyle to thrive in this period of your life. So I put a lot into the programs. But that being said, the few weeks before are busy because I also run that free protein challenge as well, which many of you joined. There was 700 people in that free protein challenge. So it's just a few really hectic weeks. So this week has been a little bit of, it's still been very busy because when I launched the program, there's people doing upgrades and getting their personal plans. And so it's still very busy in the first couple of weeks. But I just probably have taken a breath and haven't, obviously this is the first podcast I've put out this week, just because I needed to breathe and catch up. And this week has gone so fast. I am excited because I have some podcast guests that I'm going to be bringing on and talking to, and that excites me because I think collaboration gives us a chance to share more information, and that's what I'm passionate about over here. If you listen to this and the content I put out, it's because I really want to help as many women as possible. So yeah, this week has been a little bit of deep breath. I've got to put a social media post out today. I've gone a few days without even posting. I think I just have been catching my breath and trying to regroup. That being said, I was also at a summit, like a conference last week. So it's just been a very busy time. So I thought I would just update you on a few of these things. So down the Gold Coast, there was the Healthy Aging Summit, and I attended that. That was a 2-day conference, and it was really great. I'm so glad I went. I met some very awesome people, and some of those people I'm going to be bringing on the podcast. I had an assessment done, and I'm working on some fascia work with, so I have a program to work on some fascia work, which I'm quite excited about because I think from what I'm learning, the fascia is very important in the body as well, and it doesn't get a lot of kind of mention. So I might even see if I can bring Ian on so we can have a good discussion about that, and you can learn a bit more about that, especially if I don't, actually, to be honest, I don't think it matters whether you're active or not. Your fascia is a really important part of your body, and it gets jammed up. So that is something I have started doing, this new program to help release my fascia where it's stuck. So that's new. But I learned a lot of cool things at the Healthy Aging Summit. One of the things that probably stood out to me was how AI can be helpful, like when you're running a business. So that's quite insightful. Also, I think what's interesting with AI is, as we're learning more about it, you cannot replace the human aspect. Like, I obviously like help people, so you can definitely get AI and ask it questions. However, you miss the human aspect, and AI is just pulling data. So I suppose the difference that I look at with my job and what I do, I have helped hundreds of women now, and that journey of helping people makes me good at what I do, because if you come to me and we're working on something, I have like a history of experience to draw from based on working with lots of different people, and AI is never going to be able to replace that. And it's also never going to be able to replace human connection. The reason my programs are so popular and successful is because as human beings we want to connect, and so being in a group environment where we can connect with each other is just so powerful, and AI is never going to replace that. So, but I still find it quite fascinating. I did listen to a podcast recently by Simon Sinek. If you haven't heard of him, he's really awesome. I've read some of his books, and he was talking about AI, and of course he writes books, and he's saying, well, you know, for him, I just wanted to pass this analogy on, for him, he actually, the process of writing the book, which was really hard and quite challenging, created who he is as a person. So sure, AI might be able to write a book, but it will never develop you as a human being, if that makes sense. So there's some really interesting takes. I think it can be a really great tool if it's used correctly, and it has to be used correctly. So that's just a side note. So I thought I would also give you an update on my back injury. So for those of you who have followed along, it's like 7.5 months ago, I injured myself badly, like serious back injury. I perforated my L4 disc. So it's been a process to recover that. I yesterday ran 5Ks non-stop, so that is a big win. In saying that, I've been trying to check in with my body today. I have a joint, and it's kind of off to the side, that kind of aches, and I may have some kind of arthritis behind my artificial disc that's causing it, but I have noticed that being maybe a bit more sore today, and that could just be a side effect of my body getting used to running again. I just have to monitor it. Nothing else really seemed to make much difference. I'm still doing my program in the gym, I'm swimming, and now I'm recovering my running. So I'm going pretty well. I did return to CrossFit with Gary as well, just on a Saturday, so I may go just once a week, just more for a social interaction. I do feel a little low on confidence, I must say. I suppose I spent so much time doing CrossFit, and some of the movements, I'm not sure, I haven't tried them before since I've been injured, and we'll see how I go. My goal is to really return back to high rocks and do another high rock, so we'll see how I progress and whether I decide to do that or not. But for now, that's where I'm at. So I feel like I'm moving quite well, and I'm excited to add this fascia programming because I think it will help just me, my body. And I actually didn't have to see my physio for 6 weeks this time, so we're kind of pushing things out because things are kind of going quite well, but generally I'm kind of trucking along, just doing all the things, still taking my supplements to help support my body, all of those things. And while we're on updates, I thought I might give you a bit of a HRT update as well. So for those of you following along, I haven't really talked about this much lately. I probably should on my social media stories too. So for the HRT thing, I thought I was on HRT. However, when I did start taking it, I had been given vaginal estrogen, which is not systemic. So if you don't understand all of the, I suppose, how HRT works per se, I did a great podcast episode with Dr. Kate, and we went through everything. So go listen to that one. It's a really good one. But basically when I got put on it, and this is, I think, one, it makes me feel stupid, but two, I didn't know what HRT was. So when she gave me vaginal estrogen, I didn't know it wasn't systemic. So I had been taking it thinking I was on HRT. I was still taking progesterone. However, actually I wasn't on estrogen. So I started taking the estrogen gel about the same time I started my fat loss journey. So it was about February. And I did have some side effects. I got really sore boobs and I felt a bit bloated, and I actually felt like I put on a bit of weight. So in the past, many years ago, 8 years ago probably, I had a Mirena put in. And when that happened, it took my body about 12 weeks to settle with it. It was really quite, it just took time for my body to settle down. So I guess starting the estrogen gel, my body got a bit excited and needed some time to do the same thing. So it did take me about, I want to say 6 weeks for it to all settle down and like get back on track. I just want to update you on that for those of you who have been following along. So I also was taking testosterone. I've been, to be fair, really intermittent with it. I keep forgetting to take it, and I'm actually nearly at the end of the thing. I can't really tell like how well it works, because I feel like, you know, everything was kind of out of whack with having my back injury. So anyway, I'm going to see a new doctor who has a menopausal clinic here in Brisbane. And so when I see her, we'll go through everything, and I'll give you an HRT update then when we do that. So that was just a couple of updates. Something else I thought I would share is I am struggling with a bit of gut issues at the moment. And to be fair, I thought I had a parasite. I actually think it's coffee. So you might be laughing listening to this. I really like coffee, but it just does not seem to agree with me. And I keep trying to have it, but I just don't think my body likes it. So unfortunately, I think it's actually coffee that's upsetting my gut. And instead of guessing, I think when it comes to gut health, we monitor gut health on my program, and we do certain things to help improve our gut health. So I know about doing all of the things. However, this is out of my scope of practice from having all of the boxes ticked. So I booked in to see my functional doctor. I'm going to go and see him next week, and then just get everything checked and make sure I get that fixed up. Now, when I'm talking about gut health, normally I'm talking about, and this is actually quite, I suppose I just didn't think about coffee because I'm more thinking about food. And so I'm drinking coffee, not thinking it's the coffee, because I'm more mindful of what food I'm ingesting. So I think it's the coffee that's been throwing my gut off, and maybe even thrown me into leaky gut. I'm not sure. We'll find out next week. So we'll get that healed and back on track. But when that happens, it really throws things out. Your food is not being converted to energy. So I have had, like, my energy's been lower. I haven't felt as full of energy. Obviously my food isn't being digested properly. So it can really impact a lot of things. And I have had this happen in the past before, so it's not new. However, I'm going to get it checked. And if you're listening to this and you're thinking, maybe my gut health isn't like great, then I do recommend you go get it checked out. I like a functional doctor, but go and see someone who can help you get that back on track. Because you can have the most perfect diet. If your gut health is off, like has been for me over the last, it's been at least 6 weeks, maybe longer. It is affecting how you function, your energy, everything actually. So everything, and so it's really important. So don't let it go. Please address it. So anyway, those are a few things. I will get back to normal broadcasting now that I have managed to be able to settle. it has really been a busy time. And I also just wanted to be honest with you guys and let you know where I'm at. Like, I'm a human and I'm a high functioning human because I have this unrelenting expectation of myself. So I tend to pack a lot into my life, and sometimes that means that I'm not balancing myself very well. So actually, I'll just fill you in on this. One of my programs, we have like a weekly call together, and we all, like, each week are like, what are we working on this week? And one of the girls who does my program, her and I are both focusing on not being on our phones for the first hour of the day and the last hour of the day. And also, I really love journaling for my mindfulness. So I've got back to journaling in the mornings. I'd kind of got out of the habit. And so it's really great. Like, I get to learn from the people that, you know, are in the programs as well, because it helps me be a better version of myself. So that's cool too. So that's one of the things I'm really focusing on too. So that's kind of like where I am. I am super excited for this new program that has started. These ladies are really excitable and really motivated and wanting change. And it's always a privilege to be able to help and work with people in this journey. So I really love what I do. I'm so privileged and grateful. Meal plans went out today, so I got all those done. I'm working on some new recipes. It's winter here in Brisbane, so I made 2 or 3 new soups this week. I made a lasagna soup. I'd heard about it. What happens, and I'll give you a little insight as I'm chatting. What happens is I see recipes, and then of course I want to make them be able to fit into the macros and the calories, so those of people that are working with me and even myself can enjoy them in the day. So if a recipe came in and it was like 850 calories for dinner, well, that's not really going to fit with the plan. And most women that I'm working with are wanting body composition goals. And I'm managing my calorie budget too, because I've just been through my own 12-week calorie deficit. And so I don't want to just blow that out. I'm now managing my calorie budget. So then I look at the recipe and see, okay, how can I'll adapt it and create it. And also, often that might be a recipe that's come from overseas, and so the ingredients are different here. And I adapt it and change it and play around with it so it fits my menopausal tribe. And so this week I've been doing some of that. And this lasagna soup, I made that last night. It was so good. It was delicious. It was so warming and hearty. It was so good and really fast. So that's going in the meal plan for next week. And it's going to be a great one. And the good news is I have quite a few international women that join in the program. And so I have my recipe library that has, more than 350, it's probably closer to 400 recipes in there now. And so they just go in, can swap. If I've got like lasagna soup on there, they can just go and swap out for the salads, like in the recipe library. It works quite well. So it doesn't matter like what season you're in, you can just swap any food for whatever season or what climate you're in, which is great. And because I'm a big believer of eating vegetables and fruits that are in season as well. Like, I love going to my local market to get my fruit and veg, and I think we should eat fruit and veg that's in season. So same thing, like that allows everyone to swap out and eat the food that's available currently. So it's really good. So anyway, that's a little update. I hope you are having a great day wherever you're tuning in. The wait list I'm just about to get that in place. So the waitlist will start for the September program. So if you're listening to this and you're like, I would like to learn the education behind all of the things I can do to be my best self. And I like my analogy with it is like a jigsaw puzzle. All these little puzzle pieces come together to create you feeling your optimal self. Things like drinking enough water and getting your steps in and eating high protein and lifting weights and getting your cardio in and knowing your fat loss, calorie deficit, like tracking all of these things, right? There's so many of them. And then we create this just jigsaw puzzle that is you feeling your absolute best. But unless we know and learn all of these little tips and tricks, and some of them are just little tips and tricks, we miss the mark. We don't quite finish the puzzle. And, you know, if you're listening to this, you're like, yeah, I want to feel my absolute best, then that's about learning all of the things. And also I encourage you to keep learning. Like, some ladies come and do my program many times because every time I run it, it's different. Like, I'm always learning. I was on a lecture with Dr. Bill Campbell last week talking about what is the best exercise for fat loss, you know, and so that information then I pass down and people find out the latest research for us in this stage of life, because there's a lot of confusion out there, especially on social media at the moment. I think my whole job at the moment is actually debunking some of this clickbait that you see. And the exercise one is a perfect example. So, you know, unfortunately, it's very confusing on social media, and then people just are trying all these things and they're not working, and they're frustrated and they're wasting money and time, and it's not good. So anyway, that's just a little bit about that. But my waitlist will be up for the September program, so you can jump on. That leads us into Christmas, and it's really great kind of heading into Christmas, having someone in your corner helping you along. Also, I will get back to my weekly recipes that I put out usually on a Wednesday, so they get emailed. I will announce the recipe on a Wednesday, and then it gets emailed that week. So I didn't put one out this week because honestly I just needed to take a breath. And but my ladies on my program, they've had lots of new recipes this week, so that's my focus. Obviously the people I work with get the best of me, but I will get back to the weekly high protein recipes and sweet treats. That's my love language. So if you are not on my email list, that's a good place to be, so you get the weekly the recipes and you can test some of these for yourself. Because you should look forward to your food. It should taste amazing, and it should tick the boxes on your protein, your fiber, all the things you need to thrive in menopause, and it should be menopause approved. So that is my little update for you people. I hope that this has been helpful. I did write myself some notes to keep on track, although I feel like I have had a good old chat with you today. I hope you are having a wonderful day wherever you are. I truly appreciate you tuning in. Back to normal. There'll be more content coming out next week. I'll get back to doing my social media posts. It's quite a full-time job. And truly, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, drop them here. I would love to hear from you. Maybe let me know where you're tuning in from. And if you are catching the replay, just drop replay in the comments so I can say, hi, I missed you. And if you do like listening to this content, make sure you subscribe. I do have a podcast. It's called Menopause Nutritionist. It has more than 250 episodes over there that you can tune into and hopefully help you on your journey. Otherwise, I will look forward to seeing you next time. Have a beautiful day, and thanks for being here.